What's going on YouTube? Pistol Pete here. Today I'm going to talk about which one of these budget blades do I feel is the best or my favorite. Now again, this is subjective. I know it's everyone's opinion and depending on what you're doing the job for, the task you're doing and what you're actually looking for in a knife. So it's a lot of different things, but I'm just giving you my personal opinion on this. And this is there's a 1,000 more budget blades out there, which I understand. And that I just don't have. These are the ones I have that I'm going to go over. Okay. And some of them, almost, I would say all of them except for one, you could still purchase online. That's why I did this. The one, pretty much this one at the very end here is just an honorable mention, really. You can't get that anymore, but it was a freaking bitchin' budget blade. And it's on one of the top of the list here. If the reason why I'm going to put it aside after I show it to you is just because you can't get it. And I'm talking about blades you could still buy, and you can still, to this day, they still manufacture them. You can still get them. All right, so I'll show you this one though, since we'll start with this here. This one is, so I'm gonna take it down here. Hold on a minute. All right. This one here is the Timber Rattler. They call this the Malibu buoy. And it's pretty bitchin'. And obviously you can see it's been through hell. The reason why this is such a bitchin' blade and it's a quality piece is that I treat it like shit. I've thrown this at the log over 1,000 times. I've dropped it on cement. I've hacked through numerous amounts of logs and wood and everything else. Blade still straight as ever. I mean, solid one piece. You can see there, I wrapped it in just because the handles are coming out because I was just left it out in the rain. That's another thing too. Left this out in the rain and the snow and the heat. And the heat treat still held up. I still, I decided, I was like, you know what? I can't find this anymore. Maybe once in a blue moon you could find these on eBay. Once in a blue moon. And and then of course they've gone up quite significantly because if they're in good condition, obviously. But this one here, I treated it like shit, but I was like, you know what, I cleaned it up, took all the rust off it, and kind of gave it a little bit of a polish. I could do better. I'm ordering a palm sander, so I'm gonna try to get these a mirror finish again and try to make it look nice. But for what it is, I've had a lot of fun with this. It's been one hell of a user knife. Killer freaking long 12-inch buoy here. And I love the shape of it. This one is just awesome. But so that's honorable mention again. So you can't get that one. Okay, so now I'm gonna go from least favorite to favorite. Okay, we'll say, and we'll also go. Well, I'm judging this on dependability. We're gonna say all around. We'll do that all around user, an all around user knife that'll be dependable. Okay, so the least, starting with the least, would have to be this one. You guys saw my review recently on this. It's this one here. This is not the sheath. This is the Timber Rattler sheath. The other one was a nylon piece of crap that I prefer this one anyways. This one is the Masters sawback buoy. Yeah, you guys saw my video. This right here is a hidden tang. It's cheap. The welds on the sides of the hidden tang it makes it look like it's a full tang, but it's a hidden tang. The sides were breaking. You could tell cracking at the little spot welds where they spot weld it. Guard came completely loose. You can see there, if you can still pick it up here in the light. I kind of straightened it out, but it's right there on the edge. Big wave in the edge. Heat treat sucks on this thing. It came razor sharp, I'll give it that. And the fit and finish at first were really nice, but looks can be deceiving until you start banging this shit around. But you can see I super glued the hell out of this, or actually epoxied it with that Gorilla epoxy, and everything's nice and tight now. Nothing's loose. Guard's not loose. But this I would only use for yard work or even self-defense. Would be, but I mean, I say for self-defense, yes, because it's a big, long, sharp blade. When it came new, this thing was razor freaking sharp, so definitely would do damage. So this is my, would be the last place here. So number 6. Let's move on. I think the next least favorite or less dependable one would probably be this one. It's a machete. It's the Ronin, the black Ronin machete, and it's you'll see. I'll show you right now. It's super, and then that's another thing. Most of these, which I would say almost all of these here, except for a few, which I don't like, is the blade thickness is so freaking thin. Let's see if it'll pick it up. Let me get low here. So thin, and most of them have bends. They're slightly bent because they're just so thin of a tip. It gets so thin. Most of these budget are 4 millimeters thick or less. So move back onto the black Ronin here. So awesome design. I love the design of that. It's pretty freaking cool the way it looks. I did wrap the tape here, and one of the reasons why I glued it and wrapped it, because as you can see there, crack in the handle from just using it. They did come loose, and I kept using it loose, and it cracked the handle. That's why I say you always want to tighten. If you see them come loose, they feel them loose, tighten them up right away, because you start swinging on this loose, it just smacks that into that little nut there and breaks it even further. The blade here took a little bit of warp when doing some chopping, so thin. You know, this sucker's thin. It's a machete, I get it, but you know, it's a thin machete, but it also has in my opinion, too thin of an edge. Same thing, super thin edge. Can't really pick it up here, unfortunately. It's not focusing. Looks cool looking design. You know, this one is full tang, just a little bit more on the cheaper side though, you know, obviously. And again, another yard work, light duty type, maybe self-defense. This one didn't come razor sharp. It came sharp, but not razor sharp. So that's why this one here is second to the last. All right, moving on. Let me move this over here. Now we're down to these four here. So second, I just threw this in here. It was kind of smaller, but this one here I'd have to say would be for all around use, would be the next one in. Quality's there because it's cold steel, and man, you can't beat a cold steel. I did take off the handle, as you can tell. I took off the handle for now. I'm gonna redo it. I'm gonna refinish this. I did strip the coating, and you see it pick on the light a bit here. As you can see though, it left a weird, like almost like, it's not rust, but it's like a weird patina on it. At first I was like, I kind of can dig that, and then now I'm looking at it more, it looks just more like rust. So I was like, nah, you know what, I'm gonna get my my sander, my palm sander, and sand the shit out of this down, and try to get close to a mirror finish on that. So it's not, this is a project still, not done yet, but at least I got all the paint stripped off. So as you can see, that's why I don't have the handle on it right now, because I have the paint. I have the waiting for the palm sander to come in so I can get that cleaned up more. But so the reason why this one here for me is not one of the top three is because it's too small. I mean, it chops for the size. It chops pretty decent, but it is small. It's a great thrower. I love it as a great thrower, but it's just not. It just doesn't feel. It's the handle slippery when it is on. Obviously not like this, but when the handle's on, it's slippery. You know, and it's just like the rest, kind of a little bit cheaper steel. This one I believe is 1055, which is not too bad actually. Still is not too bad on this, but it's for a thrower, awesome thrower. But for an all-around task utility type knife that you could depend on, not so much in my opinion. You know, some people will be like, no, you know, that's the best one, blah blah. But yeah, in my opinion, the size. I like for me to be a dependable all-around utility knife, the blade for me has to be 11 inches. A lot of people argue, oh, you only need a 5-inch blade, a 6-inch blade. I like at least 10, 11-inch blade. You know, 9-inch, I'll agree with that. 9 inches is good. But anything under that, I don't, you know, for an all-around, because you're going to be chopping to big tasks, small tasks. And just like you watch cold steel videos, and I totally agree with Lim Thompson when he says that you can't do everything with a small knife that you can do with a big knife, but the other way around, if I said that right anyways. With a big knife, you can do everything. You can do small tasks, you can do feather sticking, everything. With a small knife, you can't do all the stuff that a big knife can do. So I'd rather have a big knife and be able to do everything. Maybe not as well as a small knife, but at least you can still do it, right? Okay, so now we're down to here, the last three. So if I have to pick here, I'm gonna have to go number 3 would be this one. This one here is the Cisco Tactical Silver Buoy. And let's see here if I can get it off with one hand. Yeah, it's not holding the phone here, so give me there. So yeah, so you guys saw this is one I just did recently. This one, it's the blade is awesome, held up really well. I mean, I beat the hell out of this, you can see, and I batoned with it and did stuff out of the video, and that edge is absolutely perfect with it. The only thing I didn't like that made me a little bit skeptical of it was the tip. And I don't know if it's picking it up again. Let me go over here under the, you can see it's kind of slightly bent, but it's so thin on these budget blades. Again, that's my main complaint on most of these budgets. It's super thin tip, so easy for bending, breaking, you know, snapping off. This one here, the handle didn't come loose, so thank God. I was trying to take this off. I was gonna do a video for you guys and show you what it's underneath this, but honestly, these freaking stupid little cheap aluminum screws here were started threading. I tried my hardest to not thread it, hold it in there tight and twist real slowly and put pressure, but it just started just mushing away. So couldn't take them off, but nothing's loose on there. I mean, they stayed tight, you know, so I didn't have to take them off. But the guard came loose, but I threw some silicone again, some more epoxy, and man, the guard's on there now, nice and tight, not going anywhere. So this one here, this one here, that's why it's number 3. Awesome chopper. It just has a super thin tang, but you can't tell now with that glue there. But I mean, the steel is a 420 high carbon steel, they say. So I mean, with the hedge holding up the way it does, I would say maybe it is. It's pretty good knife. Okay, down to the last 2. Which one do you think I picked as being my number 1 and number 2? All right, I'm just gonna tell you, I have to go with the Cisco buoy for the number 1 for the budget. Number 2 would be this one, close. And these are close. I have to admit, these are close because this one is a good one too. It's thick. The handles did, on both of these. I bought 2 of these because I like the steel. The handle did come loose on this, but it also came loose on this one, my first one. The guard came loose on this. The guard came loose on this. Handles came loose, started wiggling off. I took them off and made my first one a thrower, and that thing has been an awesome buoy for throwing. Super badass buoy for throwing. Highly recommend it. And then this one here, so this one handle came loose. The guard came loose as well. But we're gonna go with number 2 first, since we're going in order here. Hold on a minute. See if I can get this off without slicing my fingers open. All right. So this one held up good for calls out just stainless steel, but as you can see here, the edge also pretty flawless for just stainless steel. But I like it because it's thick. It's one of the thicker buoys out of all the budget ones I have, and it looks pretty cool, and this held up really well. It has some heft to it, so it chops really well. The tip held up fine, nice and pointy. It stays pretty damn sharp, holds an edge. The Ridge Runner, this is the Ridge Runner, and yeah, and so I mean, I like the fullers, I like the look of it, like that thick pommel. It is full tang, so this is why it's number 2. I love that this comes really close to the Cisco for the money. And mind you, all of these knives, except for this one you can't get anywhere. This one was 40, but all the rest are sub 30. All the rest are less than $30. You can find them around $20 to $30. All these knives here. So you're talking on a budget. On a budget, you're picking which one's the best for the budget ones. And I'd have to say this is number 2, close to the Cisco. So let's see the winner now. Cisco buoy. Sheaths on all these suck. And all the budget blades, I haven't found one. I mean, this one is the best, I'd have to say. This Kydex type, plastic sheath, I'd have to say is the best out of all these. The leather ones are okay, but they're pretty cheap, and the stitching is really pretty bad, and I can see that coming loose very soon. They're all usually all the nylon sheaths, right? I mean, they make some good, some are, that one's okay. I mean, they're nylon sheaths, so that's about it. But all right, onto the Cisco buoy. So yeah, for the money, this one's not bad. And it was I love about these two, all these, what I love about budget buoys is they're really customizable. You can do what you want with them. You can, like this one here is high carbon steel, so you can blue it. That's one of the reasons why I chose this too. It's high carbon steel, tough as hell. I mean, I use this the reason why I know is because I use it, not from hearing anyone else and other people that have awesome reviews on this. A lot of people have super awesome reviews on this, but I'm just saying from personal experience, I would have to say this one has held up the best out of all. I mean, like I said, I've thrown this in the logs. I've hit nails in between the boards I've been throwing at an old picnic table. Just tiny little scratch or nick, and it sharpens right out and sharpens right up again. No major damage. Thick all the way to the tip. Thick, which is awesome for a budget blade. Thick spine. The handles, like I said, all these are customizable, so I'm going to grind down these handles a little bit, make it a little bit smoother for the hand, maybe chop off the guard a little bit. You can always do whatever you want. And if you mess it up, if you screw it up, you're out $25, $30. You're not out $150, you know. They're good to practice with, to get good when you buy nicer knives, you know. And you mess it up, go buy another one, 25 bucks, you know, 30 bucks tops. So that's why I have to recommend this. So let's put these in order here. I'll lay them out real quick. I don't want to make this video too long, bore you guys to death, but actually I'll keep the sheaths out of it. Let's do the blades. But yeah, for the money, you can't go wrong with a lot of these, you know. Some of these ones down here, you know. And this one I threw in there, even though it's kind of small, out of place. But for the money, you can't go wrong with almost any of these, you know. Again, these three right here, definitely worth the money. Definitely worth the money. And I guess we can go down the road, tell you what I paid. I mean, the prices always change, right, on a daily basis. But Cisco buoy I paid 22 bucks for. This one here I paid about 26. This one here was $16. $16 for this one. So for what you get, it's not a bad blade at all. This one here, $25. This one here, I think $28. This one here, $22. So, and these two are the most flimsiest, the thinnest blades, but they're still working knives. You know, as long as you know what you're going to be doing with them. As long as you're not going to be batoning with those, you're not going to be doing any heavy prying or stabbing with those. They both came pretty sharp, you know, out of the box. This one here is dependable. You know, the 1055 steel, you can't beat that. Real quick, I'll go over the steels real quick. This one here, it just says stainless steel. It doesn't really call out exactly what grade. Here again, I think this one called out 440 stainless steel. Again, 1055, high carbon, 420. This one here just calls out stainless steel, and this one just says high carbon, doesn't call it what grade. So those are the steels there. But yeah, well, I'm gonna wrap it up here with this, and hope it helps you guys if you want to make a decision on which one, you know, you'd like to buy maybe, or which one you think that you like. If you want to leave a comment below, let me know which one is your favorite. Which one did you pick out of all the knives? And you know, if you have a budget one that's around that price, between 20 and 35 bucks, that you think is badass, let me know, and I'll definitely try to get that and do a test with it and see how it holds up. But these three right here, for the money, they're money. They're awesome. They're the beater buoys. You can do almost all the, you know, pretty high-end bushcraft with that. You know, mine, you know, of course you can go a lot further with a $250 knife, but not a lot of people can afford that. Not a lot of people can afford that. And if you want just a real dependable knife that you can kind of, you know, pretty much trust, I would say these right here. These right here. This one, yeah, even this one. You know what? I'm gonna say it. Yeah, even that one. For the price, you can't beat it. All right, YouTube, please like and subscribe. And until next knife, gun, or whatever,